Today I'd like to talk about solo seniors, solo silver seniors. Are you one? I'm one. I am a solo senior. And how did we get here? How did you get here? How did I get here? I would like to know. I am Nancy, and good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. I would like to discuss with you guys how we got here. Mine is from partially a divorce, mostly a divorce. I was married for the third time for 28 years. And honestly, I don't know how we made it to 28 years, but we did. And we were never, ever on the same page, except when we were hiking or going somewhere. And then it was fun times because it was not real life. And we had a great time when we were doing things like that, or going to Disneyland, or just fun things. But when it came to real life, there was nothing there. And if we wanted to talk about it, there was no talking about it, because if we talked about it, then it became a real thing. And if it was real, then he couldn't handle it. So out of sight, out of mind was always his attitude about everything. And he was not the kind of person that would take charge or lead the family. And I so desperately wanted a spiritual leader, a good, strong man that would lead our family. And he just was not that. And for an example, I asked him about life insurance one time, and he said, "What do I care? If I'm dead, I don't care about anything." So that was the kind of man he was. But we had a health crisis in our family, and it was pretty hard for a time. And that's when I found out, actually, but when he decided to cheat. And it had, from what I understand now, and what I've learned, and I probably really knew in my heart then, but he had been doing it for quite a while. And he is also a pathological liar. So that involves a lot of what is going on as well. So that's when he decides to cheat and get a girlfriend. So I ultimately filed for divorce, and I had just had it at that point. And even though I was lost, even after the divorce, I was lost for a long time. Even though the marriage was not good, it's something that you get used to, and it's just easier to comply, easier to get along, easier to just keep putting one foot in front of the other instead of doing anything about it. And I'm guilty of that. And little did I know that God had other plans for me and knew exactly where I needed to be. But it took a long time. And like I've said in other videos, that I'm a slow learner. It takes me a while. But actually, him and his girlfriend did me a huge favor. And I would not care to imagine where I would be today if I was still there. I just can't even imagine. But after that, I moved to Oregon for a while, about 6.5 years. And I was still pretty lost for several years. And I had a few boyfriends at that time, and that wasn't working either. But I did realize while I was there, even though we had hiked and did things before in our marriage, I totally took in the nature of Oregon. I loved fishing. I loved being out on a boat fishing. I loved the forest. I loved hiking in the forest. And I loved hiking with my dogs. And that's when I started finding out who I was and what I enjoyed and what I loved in life. And I came back to California in 2021. And each year, each day, each month, I just grew as an independent solo female. And I totally enjoy where I'm at today. I would never get married again. There's so many benefits. And as being married for almost my entire life, I'm just embracing this solitude. And solitude does not mean loneliness, by far. I come and go when I want. I get up and go to bed when I want. I have as many pets as I want. I go camping whenever I want. I go to concerts alone. I go out to eat alone. I go camping alone. There's nothing wrong with it. If I want somebody with me, then I invite somebody. I've had people invite themselves to camping, and I cringe, because if I invite you, that's different. But if you invite yourself, please don't. Please don't. I don't want company. I love going and being by myself and having a campfire and making tea or coffee and hiking with my dogs. And I love it. And I am probably repeating myself, but I embrace being alone now, because I know who I am. I know both sides, the married side and this side. And with seniors, yes, there are people that have relationships as seniors, and that is great. And I'm so happy for you. But at our age also comes a lot of baggage. People have already lived their lives, and we have, on both sides, we have families, we have kids, we have grandkids. And sometimes that's really hard to intertwine. And there's a lot of stuff that you bring after a full life. But friendships are great. I love friendships without the romance. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can go places together. You can have a meal together. You can go on a hike together, a bike ride together, just as friends. And I think that's remarkable, remarkable. So that's kind of my story and how I got to be a solo senior. I would love to hear your life stories. And if you are a solo senior, how you got to be here. And if you're enjoying it or if you're not. And some people don't enjoy it, and that's okay too. Do what makes you happy. But it's good to know that we can be okay within ourselves, and we can be comfortable. And with God's help, I have come a long, long way since then. And I am a complete different person. So let me know your thoughts and your comments. And if you would, I would love for you to like and subscribe. And just have a conversation with me, okay? All right, you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.